Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the Salescast Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we are on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Daryl Amy.
Welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Daryl Amy, here today with Larry Levine for a special announcement episode. What's going on, Larry?
Oh, it's a great day. It is a special day, Mr. Daryl Amy. One that we've been looking forward to for quite some time. Isn't that so?
We have been teasing the audience for months, and it is finally here. I'm just going to say it. I want to say a massive congratulations to you, Larry Levine, for the release of your new book, the latest book, Selling in a Post-Trust World.
Hey,
I am so excited. There it is. People, if you're watching on YouTube.
Everyone, check it out. This is here. I tell you what, here's the front, the back, the spine.
There it is.
There it is.
So if you're listening in, all you got to do, this is so exciting, Larry. I'm so excited about this book. Of course, I've seen the book. We've been working on this behind the scenes, getting it ready for launch. And I believe this book, Selling in a Post-Trust World, is going to be an amazing gift to the sales profession, especially where we are right now in a world where trust is at an all-time low.
You know, absolutely. And first of all, I'm just super grateful to everybody because this book wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Selling from the Heart community and everything that's happened with Selling from the Heart over the last 5+ years, from the podcast to the book. I just wanted to say I'm super grateful to everybody and thank you for being a massive supporter of Selling from the Heart. But Selling in a Post-Trust World really takes this to the next level. And why I'm excited about it and why our team at Selling from the Heart is so excited about it is we've been bringing this to the forefront for the last couple of years, Daryl. So we've been deep training in environments of high trust, high relationships where trust and credibility matters. And we've seen the success with it based on the foundation that is in Selling in a Post-Trust World.
Okay, so I want to talk about what's behind this book, some of the key ideas in it, what folks are going to learn. But first, I want to let everybody know something really fun. So this book officially launches in bookstores like Barnes and Noble this summer. However, we have a limited amount of advanced reader copies of this book. Now, an advanced reader copy, if you're an author, you get advanced reader copies of books all the time, where you get a preview into the book. But what we wanted to be able to do, we got permission to do this. We got a lot of advanced readers copies, and they're available.
And they look
to you in the
like
audience.
This.
And that's the beautiful thing about these advanced reader copies, that they're exactly the same as copies that are going to go for sale later this summer. But what we wanted to do, we didn't want to delay. We didn't want to wait. We wanted to get this in your hands. And you can get your hands on this, an advanced reader copy right now at our new website, sellinginapostttrustworld.com. Selling in a Post-Trust World, kind of long, but you can do this. It's in the show notes if you're driving right now. But you can go there right now and get an actual copy of the book. And rumor is, Larry, you're going to autograph those for us.
Yeah, Daryl, that's not a rumor. That I am signing copies for everyone.
So sellinginapostttrustworld.com, you can get your hands on advanced reader copies. You can go there right now, be the first to get the book. And when you get the book, of course, we're going to ask you to hold it up and smile and share it with the world on social media. We'll also let you know at that site, if you lead a sales team or you've got a large group of salespeople, you want to get it in their hands. There's actually some really cool bonus items if you order in bulk. But we've got this book. We want to get it out to the world. And the subtitle of the book, I think, says it really, really well. The subtitle of this book is Discover the Soft Skills That Yield Hard Dollars. The soft skills that yield hard dollars. This is what we talk about all the time at Selling from the Heart. And this ability to build relationships of trust is a total game changer when it comes to all of our success in sales.
Absolutely. And I'm a big, massive believer in this. Daryl, you know this, and everyone who follows us at Selling from the Heart is trust begets more trust. Mm-hmm. And this is the holy grail in sales, because we do know this: when trust is high, deals move along really nicely and with profit. When there is low trust, and unfortunately there is some out there, and that's our mission to help increase this. But we all know this: when trust is low, deals sometimes stagnate and come down to the word price. And so selling in a post-trust world, we're just going to I'm breaking this down into 4 facets and how y'all can build trust throughout the whole entire sales process.
Yeah. Before we unpack those 4 facets, I just really want to bring this, just put a highlighter on this and really think about this. When there's low trust, things do slow down. Around Selling from the Heart, we've quoted the title of Stephen M.R. Covey's book, Business at the Speed of Trust, because as you said, trust speeds things up. But I think it's not just the price negotiations. When there's low trust, it becomes a price thing. You look at the number of deals right now that are stuck in funnels, and you go, why is that deal stuck in the funnel? Well, I would submit to you, it may not be true in every case, but I bet it's true in the majority, that if the buyer was really honest, they would say, I really don't trust this company is going to deliver on this value proposition, or I don't trust this salesperson. And it may not even be you as a salesperson. Maybe they just don't trust. Maybe they got burned before. So what we've got to be able to do right now in this environment, this post-trust world that we live in, is we've got to be able to establish trust. And you said this earlier, Larry, we've been working on this trust formula. We've actually been using it in our training programs when we roll out corporate sales training. And we're seeing this work across multiple industries, especially industries where there's not a whole lot of differentiation, where it's kind of a commodity offering where the buyer goes, there's not much difference. What's the difference? The difference is trust. And we have developed a trust formula that is going to be unpacked in this book. And I'm so excited to get the trust formula out to our friends here, the listeners of the Selling from the Heart podcast. You're going to get it first.
Yeah, as we start diving into this, there's some I just want to layer into what you just said. And this goes back to, this is everybody. So whether you're an executive inside of a company, a president of a company, a key sales leader, even sales professionals, let's just all together think about this for a moment. Then we're going to dive into the trust formula. And I've always asked this, Daryl, you've heard me ask this, are you in the people business and relationship building business? And of course, everyone overwhelmingly says, of course we are. Yes.
Absolutely.
Then that being the case, where trust and credibility sits right now, what are we doing collectively as a group to build our people skills and our relationship building skills? And the reason why I say this, and this is the conundrum I see salespeople and leaders getting caught in, which we break down in how to overcome this in Selling in a Post-Trust World, is this. It's the likability and friendship factor. So many people in sales, they want to be liked and they want to be friends. And I'm not casting a dark shadow around this, none whatsoever. There comes a point in time. But would you rather be liked and be friends, or would you rather be viewed as being trustworthy and credible? And you can't have both of these. Overwhelmingly, everyone chooses trust and credibility. So that the question that I want everyone to think about as we break down the trust formula is, what are we doing to build our trust and our trustworthiness? And what are we doing to build our credibility in a world where we're not viewed in a very positive fashion?
That's right. And this trust is a game changer. And as we get ready to talk about the trust formula, I just want to remind everybody, if you're listening in, if you're watching on YouTube, you see across the bottom of the screen how you can get an advanced reader's copy of Larry's newest book, Selling in a Post-Trust World. You actually just go to sellinginaPostTrustWorld.com and you can learn about the book. You can also order multiple copies. Maybe you want to grab one for yourself and some copies for the other people in your bullpen. Maybe you want to read through it together, because what you're going to discover is trust can be built. And trust not only can be built, it needs to be built. When you walk into a deal, trust is at an all-time low. So this is where the trust formula comes in. And Larry, the first two aspects of the trust formula are like the two sides of a coin. They're both important, and you have to have both of them at the same time.
Absolutely. And before I get there, I just got to throw a little funny in it because it just shines a light on this. I love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, Daryl. They're one of my favorite snacks.
I agree with
They're
you on that.
one of my favorite snacks. So just as there's two sides to the trust coin, these both go together like peanut butter and jelly. And it's just, right, we have to build what we call authentic relationships. And we have to combine this with what we call meaningful value. They both have to go together. You cannot have one without the other. And so when we start thinking about authentic relationships, it's simply put, who do you know? Who do you know in your current accounts? Who do you know in your targeted accounts? And when I think of authenticity, it's one word. It's congruency. Does the walk match the talk when you're building these relationships?
Absolutely. And the authentic relationships are so important right now. And it's not just authentic relationships. And this is the important thing to recognize is, and many of our friends are building authentic relationships. But if you have authentic relationships and you don't have the second component of this, you're going to have a lot of friends, but you're going to need your friends to buy you lunch. It's going to be broke, right?
No, absolutely.
More than authentic relationships, it also takes the second component of the trust formula, meaningful value. And you really unpack this well in this book. How do you communicate value that's meaningful to the buyer?
Absolutely. When I think of meaningful value, Daryl, I think of business smarts, business goods, business insights. And I just remember back not too long ago, I sat with a group of salespeople and I said, when it comes to prospecting, this is going to tie into meaningful value. And I said, when it comes to prospecting, how do you want to be viewed? How do you want to be viewed by key executives, key decision makers, key influencers, the people you're prospecting into? Overwhelmingly, the people agreed knowledgeable. I want to be viewed as being a knowledgeable professional. Well, in order to become knowledgeable, you must become educated. And therefore, you have to become an educator to be viewed as being knowledgeable. There's a point behind the story, though it's abbreviated, is what are you doing to educate yourself to bring meaningful business substance and value to key decision makers and influencers? So afterwards they go, wow, you left me smarter after this conversation than before you entered the conversation.
Absolutely. And I love how you really dive into this in the book. You definitely need to know your products and service. No question about that.
Absolutely.
But you also need to know your customer's business. You need to know your prospects' business. You need to understand business in general. You need to understand what is meaningful to them. And this is where trust is built, when we can actually, in the context of an authentic relationship, bring that meaningful value. And you do a masterful job at unpacking this and making this actually really doable for salespeople in the book. And once again, I've said this, I think this book is an incredible gift to the sales industry, Larry, and the ability to recognize and build and unpack meaningful value is a key skill that chapter right there is worth the price of admission, because that will accelerate a heart-centered sales professional. And it is heart-centered to really give a rip enough to dig deep and build that meaningful value and bring it to your clients.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you brought forward Give a Rip. It's just one of our mantras here at Selling from the Heart. But it's all right. And when you start bringing meaningful value, here's a couple things that starts happening. Your confidence and the believability in yourself starts to increase. And I challenge you in this book, for those that have read Selling from the Heart, I challenge you in Selling from the Heart. Those that are going to read Selling in a Post-Trust World, I do the exact same thing. But when you can bring meaningful value to key executives and decision makers, where you get them to think a little bit and they're scratching their head a little bit, and there's those silent pauses, you've struck gold. You have literally
Bingo.
struck gold in the conversations. And we're going to unpack this all in the book.
It's so fantastic because if you've hung out with Larry and you've hung out with Selling from the Heart, you've heard the phrase, don't be an empty suit. Well, in Selling in a Post-Trust World, Larry, you actually teach us how to fill the empty suit, how to really bring substance to the table. And in this, when we get the sincerity of authentic relationship and the substance of meaningful value together, it's peanut butter and jelly. Good.
There you go.
That's exciting. Well, I want to unpack the last two pieces of the trust formula here in a minute. But if you're just joining us, guess what? Larry has a brand new book. It's called Selling in a Post-Trust World. And you can get your hands on an advanced reader's copy. Yes, Larry.
Everybody, it's color coordinated.
It's color
coordinated.
Hey, hold that up again, though. I just want to say a huge shout out to our graphic designer, Jeremy. You know who you are. That is a beautiful, beautiful book cover. You did a phenomenal job of making this. You make Larry look like a rock star. So thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.
It's a good looking book.
It is. And hey, before we unpack the last two, there's two other people I want to give a huge shout out to. One's Mark Hunter. Mark's got the quote on the front of Selling in a Post-Trust World. Mark's been a near and dear friend of mine. He's been on this journey. He's gotten a front row seat the whole entire time in bringing Selling from the Heart to the forefront. And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up one other person's name, and that's my dear friend, Mike Weinberg. Mike Weinberg. And by the way, you, Daryl, you probably believe in me more than I believe in myself, but Mike wrote one heck of a forward to set up Selling in a Post-Trust World. So Mark Hunter, I love you. Mike Weinberg, I love you. You're near dear friends of mine. I'm so grateful that you're in my life. Thank you.
So you can get an advanced reader copy. And as we said earlier, this is really cool. I mean, we're kind of breaking new ground here. Usually these advanced reader copies just go to a handful of people who are maybe going to endorse the book. We said, let's just get this out to all of our friends. It's going to hit the bookstores in later in this summer, but we wanted to get it out to you right now. And so you can go to sellinginapostttrustworld.com, order your copy, order multiple copies if you want. There are some bonus items. We made it fun. We're going to go deep. You're going to get a lot of stuff with this. You'll see when you get there, but we really want you to get your hands on it. We also want you to take that book and hold it up, Larry. Hold it up.
Just like this.
Smile, right? Just like
snap
this.
A selfie, right? I've done it. Just snap the selfie and post it out.
It's going to be
social.
so much fun. And just, hashtag Selling from the Heart on that. And we'll chime in and we'll have a good time with this because this is really, really critical. And we love the sales profession here at Selling from the Heart. And I know everyone in our audience and all of our friends, we love the sales profession. And one of the things that's so important for the sales profession is it's important that we be known as a profession that's trustworthy and that we build trust. So we talked about the first two parts of the trust formula, which are authentic relationships plus meaningful value, the peanut butter and jelly. But you got to have two pieces of bread for the sandwich. We're just making this up as we go. What?
Hey, have fun with this, everyone.
Had we known this, we would have put a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on the cover. But, there's other things that amplify this. And the one thing that really amplifies this is the third component of the trust formula, which is
inspirational experience. And when we think of inspirational experience, this is how you show up. And inside the section in inspirational experience, I throw a stake in the ground on this one, Daryl, and you know this is where I believe you as a sales professional are responsible for how you show up. It's the experience that you provide. And so what I want us to think about, and I unpack this throughout the whole section, is how are you inspiring and how are you influencing your clients and your future clients into continuing to do business with you? What are you doing to have them keep coming back for more and more and more of what you're sharing? I know y'all work for great companies that provide outstanding service, but you are the company in the eyes of your clients and your future clients. So it's how y'all show up. And I want us to all really understand this. And this is what I peel back in Inspirational Experiences.
And this is the fun part. And there's a whole movement inside companies around customer experience. And as Larry said, I hope your company provides a good customer experience. But we as sales professionals have the ability to create an experience for our prospects and for our customers that goes above and beyond the customer experience. And in a world where trust is at an all-time low and buyers look and see, all the different alternatives and it's pretty much the same, the inspirational experience you create is the differentiator. And right there, that's a fun part of the book. But there's a fourth part of the trust formula. It's not so much fun as the inspirational experience, but it's critical. So what's that fourth part of the trust formula, Larry?
Well, the fourth part is, I believe this is the glue. This is the glue that brings all three parts of the trust formula together. And that's disciplined habits. And disciplined habits is when you show up. And if you look at, in a world where so many are chasing the silver bullet and the shiny object, just give me the quick tip, the trick, the hack that gets me from point A to point B. It's the disciplined habits that's going to get you to where you really need to be. And,
That's right.
And I unpack this in depth in disciplined habits and I'll just say, this is radical discipline and consistency. And I tie this all together because this is the glue. This is right. If you pull disciplined habits out of this, you have a wobbly three-legged chair. You might still be able to build some relationships. You still might be able to bring some value. You still might be able to bring in an experience, but discipline is the fuel. That's the key that bridges all of this together.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to just once again say thank you for putting this book together. I want to show folks what they're going to see when they go to sellinginaposttrustworld.com. I'm going to just pull this in. They're going to see your smiling face talking about why you wrote the book.
Look at that.
And this is what you're going to learn in this book, right? It is super, super practical. This is not a book of theory. This is a book of action. And we believe in action at Selling from the Heart. So these things we just talked about, authentic relationships, meaningful value, inspirational experience, and disciplined habits, practical things you could put to work right away. And I wanted to just show this to you. I mean, already this book is just coming into the world and we've got lots of great things being said about this book. And I challenge you to go and look at what various sales leaders and thought leaders in the sales world are saying about this. But thank you, Lee Sauls, our friend, Selling in a Post-Trust World, presents the recipe for relationships to flourish, founded in deep trust that builds client loyalty. Couldn't have said it any better, Lee. Like that right there encapsulates this book. And this is a book that's going to help a lot of our friends, quite frankly, be more successful and have more fun doing it.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say thank you to each one of my friends that read this as I was putting it together, that shared their heart, they shared their thoughts, and they shared with the world what they think of selling in a post-trust world. So thank you.
Yeah. So thanks for listening in on this bonus episode today. We've been so excited to get this release. We've just been waiting for all the I's to be dotted, the T's to be crossed, everything ready to go. And it is ready to go right now. The book is ready to ship. So if you go to sellinginaposttrustworld.com right now, you'll be one of the first to get your hands on an advanced reader's copy. And Larry, I once again, I'm just so excited about this. And also, I think this is a great time just to say thank you to the Selling from the Heart community. Everyone that listens to this podcast, those of you who are out there in the trenches every day, bringing authentic relationship to the table, really pouring yourself out with a servant's heart on behalf of your clients. Larry, I know you wrote this book for us. And for that, on behalf of the community, I want to say thank you, because anything we can do to grow in these areas is going to help us grow our income. It's going to help us grow our fulfillment. And all of that is an incredible gift to this profession of sales that we all love.
Yeah, absolutely. And who would have thought? And I just have to share this is, this has been a wild ride. Daryl, you've been front row centered. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Daryl and I go back decades and multiple decades in our friendship. And it was, I had some life altering moments 9.5 years ago. And Daryl, you were the first person I called. And it was that conversation that sparked all of this. So I'm deeply, deeply, deeply indebted to you, Daryl. And I just wanted to say thank you to my wife as well. My wife, Robin, I love you. She's been a big supporter in this, but it's the whole Selling from the Heart community that has just risen. When we started this podcast 7 years ago, we didn't know what to expect. When Selling from the Heart came out, quite frankly, I just wanted to write a book that packed a punch. That would be read and read and read. And I had no idea that it would turn into the movement that it's turning into. And I promise you this, that when you read Selling in a Post-Trust World, it packs a punch, if not more, than Selling from the Heart. So thank you. I hope you all will go grab a copy. All I ask, share the love, spread the message, help us continue to build this movement, because this movement creates steam with you guys. And I appreciate you.
That's right. And so grab your copy now at sellinginapostttrustworld.com. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, all of that. We're building a movement of trust and authenticity right here in the sales profession. We had a book on authenticity. It was called Selling from the Heart. Now we've got a book on trust, Selling in a Post-Trust World. That's the 1-2 punch. That's the
there you go.
Jelly. That's the Donnie and Marie. That's the, whatever you got.
I can't believe you just, Daryl, I can't believe you just dropped Donnie.
I don't know.
It
was the first thing that came to mind. I have no idea why. I'll unpack that later with my psychologist. Hey, thank you everybody for backing Larry on this new book at Selling in a Post-Trust World. Till next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust. Go get Larry's new book. And most of all,